Well, it is the subject matter, so we might as well milk it for all it's worth. Don't usually catch it from, well, it's usually the same angle-ish, but we've got the sun, it's earlier in the day, so the sun is behind and to my left. It was Newton. I've been doing my homework, listened to enough videos and read enough. Newton saw that colour with the prism after he procured a prism, and it was him who worked it out, right? That, yes, it's the white light that contains the colours of the rainbow. It couldn't, there's no talk of, no mention of it possibly being a reaction of both of them, which it very well could be. Why couldn't it be? Right? I mean, it's either glass, a prism or something, isn't it? It doesn't happen, you don't see the white light unless it reacts with something transparent or something, isn't it? So how can anyone put their hand on their heart? I'm being serious here, right? We've got a cloud cover going inside anyway. Now I have been doing this for how long? 2, 3 years? If my life came down to a poker game, this is where we would be right now. See myself doing one-on-one with science. We have 13,900 chips each. Science telescope reckons it's looking into the past with space telescopes. I say no. There's a ruler here, centimeters and inches. Yes, man decided how long an inch will be, how long a centimeter will be, and man named them. But once they're there, they're there. You can see it, you can measure stuff. Now, science owns the speed of light, 300. So I come along, I see the game, and I like what I see. I think there's a game. I call 300, raise it 500. Science laughs at me. Ah! Calls my 500, raises me 1500 with talk of there's loads of evidence for it. We've got Roma, we've got Fizeau, we've got Bradley, we've got Foucault, we've got the Olaus Roma discovering light in 1676. He detected some kind of light delay as Earth moved further away from Jupiter and Io as we orbited the sun. And just, yep, all of this stuff raises me 1500. So, I weighed everything up here today. Over the couple of years, the books, the lack of evidence for anything substantial to definitely pinpoint down 299,792,458 meters per second as the speed of light. It's an absurdity. I know for a fact my driver has to be the sun taking 4.6 seconds to radiate its own light, the distance of its own diameter, for a total time from the sun to here, 108 sun diameters, 8 minutes and 20 seconds. It's an insult to people's intelligence. It's ridiculous. And people need to think about that because it's so obvious, right? So I don't care about all what that's been said there. I call your 1500. I raise your science another 1500. So science looks around, sees the numbers that it's got, and calls me a again. He doesn't care. Calls my 15. Raises me 3 grand. We started with, I did say, didn't I, 13,900. Raises me 3 grand. So what do we do? Well, like I said, I've weighed things up. Anywhere, everywhere I look objectively, which is something that very few of you can do, because you have had this pumped into you since you were pequeños, and it has stuck. Doesn't matter how absurd it is. Me, I'm going further than saying light is absolute today. I've thought about this hard since those names, those radio, microwave, infrared, ultraviolet, X-ray, gamma rays, and the visible light spectrum in between, with tails of, if you look up at the night sky, you're seeing photons that have taken, in some cases, thousands of years to travel to your eyesight. What a load of rubbish. They're saying that the green grass down there, that it's not green, that I'm here like an inanimate object waiting for photons to come, bang, and to feed me information. I am saying caca. My eyes see at absolute speed. Boom. When I look up at the night sky, boom. I'm looking at the stars exactly where they are and how they are without any light delay. If a light source can reach your eyesight, it is reaching your eyesight because it is powerful enough to do so. If it isn't going to reach your eyesight, you never see it. There is no such thing as a light year. It's ridiculous absolute speed. There is no resistance, there is no reason. It is a human leash. Let's listen to something here.
The only reason why the apple is red is because it rejected the red that it was fed.
Oh, gotcha.
And absorbed all other colors in the spectrum.
So the rejection of the red is what we are seeing with our eyes.
Correct.
And that's why we call it red.
You call it red because that's not what it is.
Right.
That's what is sent back to you.
Right.
Okay? There's no red in, around, among that apple because the apple sent it back to you. So our very language that says the apple is red is logically flawed given what I'm telling you about light.
But is it logically flawed to say this leaf blower is red and black? Is it something that's logically flawed? Is this black thing, is absence of all light during the day, and is red? Is this red radiating to my retinas and hitting my cones and my rods because it's absorbed? Red? No, it's absorbed orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo and violet, but not red. It's keeping all of those other colours and it's bouncing the red back to my eyes. And I have to wait for that to happen, everything comes to me. I'm just an inanimate object, aren't I? I'm a head on a stick. Rubbish. The leaf blower is black and it's red. The sun's light is absolute. I hear that talk on other things as well. And no, I'm not convinced. Like I said, I'm going to push the boat out a little bit further. I've always said one of the main reasons for them throwing a human leash onto the speed of light, needing it to slow down a bit because the radio communication with space, they cannot have it live, can they? And it would be much like light. Oh, you guys are going to love this. I often say, I'm not 100% sure how this works, or I'm not 100% sure how that works. And you guys will laugh at me. And you think you know how it works, but you don't know how it works. You know what you have been told, what you've been taught. This is a fact. If you'd have been taught Chinese, you'd be speaking Chinese right now. It's a fact. If you were taught Spanish, you'd be talking Spanish. If you had grown up being taught the speed of light was absolute, and it wasn't, and I knew for a fact that it was 299,792 kilometers per second, we'd be in this exact situation, but the other way around. Because you guys have been taught. You haven't thought about these things yourself. There is a big, big difference here. I have thought about these things. I have remained objective throughout, and I am telling you that they are lying. The sun's light is absolute. It does not take 4.6 seconds to radiate light the distance of its own diameter. This up here, it's been on this board for a day and a half, 2 days. Can't get past it. I'm calling it all absolute. I'm calling all of that stuff absolute. Radio. As with light, if you're not within range of a radio signal getting sent out, you're not going to hear it. There's no bouncing of radio waves to Voyager. They send a message, turn the radio off and go to bed. And 20 hours later, Voyager gets it. Processes whatever information on its whatever 1976, I think it is, software, and bounces signal back. It takes another 20 hours. Are you kidding me? 20 plus billion kilometers away? No. No, no, no. I am calling them absolute speed of light. How does GPS work? How do the laser rangefinders work? How does LiDAR work? It's absolute. What they have trouble doing is slowing it down. Don't they say they have like a network for the 2 satellites that go up the GPS satellites, are they 20,000 kilometers away or something? Bet you it's all absolute speed. They just have to tap into the network that they've created. They have trouble slowing it down, not speeding it up. All of this stuff, none of it would ever, ever affect our lives. Nobody has ever, all these people that say, yeah, but I use this daily and it works for me. It has to be set at 299. Rubbish. How do you know what it's set at? How does anybody know, really, what it's set at? Where is that? That is done at the very, very top. I bet you it's all absolute. Laser rangefinder on this planet, you'd never be in a position to wait any amount of time to send a beam somewhere and have it bounce back to your equipment so you know how far a job is away from you or what needs to be done. GPS, the same. You've seen how fast the GPS is when you're looking at the phone. If you move 1 meter, it moves, right? Bet you it's all absolute. There's no delay. There is no communications with people going to space. Don't even start me with the moon. It's obvious they didn't go, let's not go there. And let's not forget the lies. The Egyptians carving the equivalent weight of 135 battle-ready Nimitz-class aircraft carriers out of somewhere with copper hand tools in their bare hands. People believe it. The 3 pyramids on the Giza Plateau weigh approximately 13.5 million tons at 100,000 tons each. A Nimitz, battle-ready Nimitz-class aircraft carrier at 100,000 times. That's 13.5 million tons. That's 135 battle-ready Nimitz-class aircraft carriers. The Egyptians with copper hand tools. You could get every soldier in the US, UK, Spanish, Australian, every army in the world, and give them a set of copper hand tools each, and they don't even carve out the equivalent weight of one single aircraft carrier with copper hand tools and their bare hands. It doesn't happen. It's logistically impossible, but people do not know what is possible and what isn't, because you're lost in a fairy tale. Call your 3 grand. I'm all in. Everything is absolute. They're lying. There's no evidence for anything. There's nothing that would suggest light travels at 299,792 kilometers per second. There you go. Unofficially, they're calling them lies. It's a lie. From all of these absurdities, back in the day, Joseph Lagrange working out the 3-body solution in 1772, 200 years before electricity. Just so happens the James Webb Space Telescope's up there. Sun, Earth is a perfect spot where you just hover because of the gravity pulls. 200 years before electricity. Isaac Newton, 1687, laws of motion. Christian Huygens, 1674, 200 years before electricity. The wave theory of light. I feel like reading it out right now if I could get to it quickly enough. Tycho Brahe, 1577. Unprecedented astronomical observations before the telescope. What is wrong with people? I'm telling you right now, people, you need to wake up. You call in science, and you call in, throw it in. Light is absolute. Nothing takes 4.6 seconds to radiate its own light the distance of its own diameter. It's an insult to people's intelligence. Might just come out for a little spell. You're kidding me, right? You think it takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds, 4.6 seconds for that star, my star, to radiate its own light, the distance of its own diameter. So from that right-hand side of the screen, if that's coming across exactly the same as I'm seeing it, you think it takes 4.6 seconds for the sunlight to cross from one side of this phone to the other. The distance of its diameter. Look, is that a rainbow in there as well? It is, isn't it? Look at that. It's a nice little touch, look. I think we'll find that that's just the sun confirming what I'm saying. There's some moisture in that cloud up there, isn't there? Alright, peeps. Hope you're enjoying the show so far. Laters. There is no delay. If you can see a light source in the night sky, the simple reason that you're seeing it means it is powerful enough that it can reach you. Buenas tardes. Laters.